folks, according to my watch, we have 5:30. It's time to open the meeting for the forum. I'm going to call it to order. I want to welcome everybody, and the forum is an opportunity for anybody to ask questions or make statements to the commissioners. The only difference between this meeting and the regular meeting, there is no back and forth. There's a couple of periods where public can speak, but we can't respond to those comments. We can respond in these comments, or we can talk to you. Savannah or some of the staff will tell you we'll get you an answer if we don't have it right away. So it's just an opportunity for you to be able to ask us questions. Let's just bow our heads for a moment of silence before we begin. Okay, commissioners, you've had the agenda, and I have a motion to adopt the forum agenda, please.
I move to adopt.
Commissioner Dashner has moved for adoption of the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexandra, unless you were coughing.
No.
Okay.
About to.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Floor is open for public comment. Any questions? Anything you want to say? Within reason.
I hope I'm with, hi, Elizabeth Hamilton, 160 Maryland Place. I hope it's within reason. I just wanted to say that I appreciate all the many wonderful people in this community that work so hard in little ways and big ways to make it a beautiful place to live. In addition to the town staff who are absolutely awesome, I see people out trimming. Y'all may know one white pickup truck that's associated with a lot of very qualified trimming that goes on. Other people are working on planting beds of flowers along roadways, organizing fundraisers to help with beautification and restorations after Helene. I see neighbors out picking up little bits of trash as they walk along, and it's, pulling invasive weeds. It's just such a wonderful place to live, and I just appreciate being here.
Thanks so much. Who's up next? Hey, Patty.
Patty Pyle, 334 Chapman, and on the agenda tonight is something near and dear to my heart. So I'm just going to make a few comments, set the stage, because tonight council will vote on whether to accept our Helene Recovery Grant money that we've been talking about for a while. So I just wanted to point out that that grant money is going to restore Flat Creek, and I just wanted to remind everyone, just following what Elizabeth said about the beauty of this place and the fact that Flat Creek is really our centerpiece. It's our lifeline. It's our even a spiritual lifeline for us and important to us, and that every piece of work involved in that grant, the scope of work is all to restore it after Helene and to replant it and to stabilize it and make it strong, and that acceptance of the grant money gives us leverage and credibility for when the timing is right for us to apply for additional grants so that we can work even farther up the creek and continue to just restore not just the creek itself, but the entire habitat that depends on it. So just thank the council so much for all the time that you all have spent considering this issue, and we look forward to your vote, hopefully a favorable one. Thanks.
Thanks, Patty. Who else? Anyone? Savannah, you have any updates on anything you want to share? Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
But you did.
But I did.
Am I on? Yes, okay. I wrote a FEMA update for last week's monthly minute, but I think I will just read it here as well, so that information is out and about as far and wide as possible. So I'm just going to read it exactly as I wrote it for the monthly minute. We are pleased to share that our Hurricane Helene recovery efforts continue to make steady progress. Of the town's FEMA public assistance projects, all but 2 have now been obligated by FEMA. A project is not necessarily just one incident location. FEMA bundles similar projects together as a single project. When a project is obligated, it means FEMA has completed its review, approved the project for funding, and set aside the federal funds for reimbursement. While obligation is a significant milestone, the town must still complete the work and submit documentation before receiving reimbursement. Thus far, FEMA has obligated 23 different projects from the storm, many of which have been completed. The remaining 2 projects for which we are awaiting obligation are culvert repairs and embankment stabilizations. The culvert project entails 8 different culverts around town. The project is currently undergoing FEMA's required environmental planning and historic preservation review. This is a mandatory federal review for all FEMA-funded projects to ensure that the proposed work complies with environmental regulations and protects historic and cultural resources before construction can proceed. Unfortunately, our request for FEMA assistance for the embankment failure repairs was initially denied. We submitted 4 individual sites with severe embankment failure, and they denied all 4. In general, FEMA has a very high threshold for funding embankment failures and does not typically approve these projects unless there is a demonstrated threat to critical infrastructure. The town believes these projects meet the standard because of the risks posed to essential public infrastructure. The town is working closely with an engineer to prepare and submit an appeal, providing additional technical information to support our request for funding. So we appreciate everyone's patience as we continue navigating the FEMA process, and recovery takes time, but each approved project brings us one step closer to restoring our community.
Savannah, correct me if I'm wrong, but we continue to struggle week to week or month to month to accumulate the funds to initiate the projects so that we can be reimbursed, correct?
That's right, and it's kind of feast or famine. You know, we will get a large reimbursement, but then it's usually gone before it gets in the door because we have, you know, something that we want to take care of right away. We have an expected reimbursement of just over $124,000 that we are hoping to get anytime now. So when we receive that money, I can't remember what Barry has told me that he is hoping to accomplish, but I know for sure one thing that we are going to do is continue on the Arbor Lane pedestrian bridge with those funds. So hopefully that we'll be able to put a timetable on the replacement of the Arbor Lane pedestrian bridge sooner rather than later, which would be great. And then Barry has a couple of other things in mind. So we'll split that money up when it comes in and hopefully get a couple of things in the cooker.
Thanks, Savannah. Thanks for your continued work and staff's continued work on FEMA. I know it's a day-to-day process and difficult at times. Any other comments from the public? Any other questions from the public about anything? Justin, I appreciate the stop sign getting back up at the end of Graybeard there. And it makes a difference when you come to a stop and you wait for the other guy to stop and he doesn't. So thanks for that. Yes, ma'am.
Jean Norris, 192 Mississippi Road, Flat Creek Crossing. We have all tried to be adults as we waited on this process to play out. We haven't told you that we're losing sleep over it, but I will admit that, and I'm not the only one. A few things that I wanted to put out there. One is, if you all have questions for us that we might have a few minutes to prepare for, it'd be really nice to hear them before we get to that point on the regular agenda. And part of our adultness was not trying to pepper you with that request in advance. I do want to remind you that included in this contract that you'll vote on tonight is 50% of the funding for the engineering for the pedestrian footbridge that crosses near Flat Creek Crossing to the other side, which gives access to several trailheads. And once we have the engineering in hand, we can go after the rest of the money, because that is one of the things we need for seeking additional funding. The other thing that is desperately important to us in seeking additional funding is being able to demonstrate that a granting agency has already believed in our project enough to get us started on the funding. So that's what's at stake for us. So we are desperately awaiting your vote, and thank you.
Shane, quick question for me. How long have y'all been raising funds now? How long? To match the grant?
2023 says.
3 years?
She has the best memory of it.
And how much do you have after 3 years?
We have, oh boy, we have in grant funding about 290,000, some of which is already in hand and spent, some of which is coming to us by reimbursement. We have over $100,000 in private donations and small foundations and so forth. And we have probably at this point, we can probably account for about another 30,000 or so in funding dedicated to the next phase, which is the area around the original proposal.
So how close are you to the match?
The match for the grant that we're going to consider tonight, 10 plus 37, close to $50,000.
Is how short you are?
No, close to $50,000. The total match, by definition, would be $307,000.
Right. That's what I'm wanting to know.
10,000 of that will be covered in plants. We have that promised. And we have promised and also in hand probably another 50,000 beyond that, which means 300 roughly minus 50 minus 10. So we're probably down to about $240,000 that would have to be matched still. So it does not all have to be spent at once, but the projects that we defined in the proposal, you've probably read, they're expensive projects, staggeringly expensive, more than we anticipated.
I understand it doesn't all have to be spent at once, but you've got to have it to get it.
Yes.
You've got to be guaranteed. Okay. Another question. Y'all keep doing things on Flat Creek as far as projects and so forth, and you're making progress up there. I see it.
Yeah.
And you're spending money on that. Why is that money not being saved to go to the match?
Because we all signed a contract for the Accessible Parks grant that said we were going to do that work with that money.
So that's another grant you're satisfying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there,
I could just add, we haven't announced.
Patty, could you go to the mic, please?
sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Other than, we haven't announced a fundraising target because we didn't have the contract signed yet. So once we know that we're proceeding, then we can let everyone, we have over 266 individuals that we can reach out to and say, okay, we're ready to roll. We need this much by this time so we can do this chunk of work. And we feel confident that our very strong donor base will respond. But we've been in a holding pattern until we heard from you.
Yeah.
First I've heard of that. Really, I didn't know y'all were waiting on us. Really.
Well, we did.
I knew that someone stood up there a couple of years ago, Patty, it may have been you, and said that, we're going to get this grant and so forth, and it's not going to cost the town a penny, and the town is not going to be responsible for it. We're going to raise it. But
And the situation for that first grant is the truth. We have raised it so far as we're aware. Prices are all different. We may or may not have allowed enough in our original projections to get all the way through, but we think we can without having cost the town anything. We've had help from the town in the form of Barry cutting trees for us and things like that.
Right.
Not town cost. But this is stuff that we're talking about that happened since Helene. It's not the original project. It's the bridge that was taken down by Helene, additional bank damage from Helene. It's stuff that Helene has done to us. What we've managed to do is get half of the funding to fix it.
Okay. I think I understand.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Eric, you raised your hand. You wanted to say something, or did you get it? Okay. Anyone else, public comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn until 6 o'clock, which our regular meeting will start.
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Widmer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, from Commissioner Alexander. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. We stand adjourned until 6 o'clock.
like Cecilia, so she had a heavy pen like you did. So it could have been awkward, yeah.
Folks, if you'd take your seats, please. It's 6 o'clock and it's time to start the meeting. Okay, everyone, I've been nice. Now I'm hollering. Sit down. Call the meeting to order, but let's stand and face the flag and say together the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just stand silently and bow our heads before we start, please. Amen.
It's really nice.
Commissioners, you have the agenda and have looked at it. I hope you have. To have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Widmer. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Commissioner Dachter. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes, carry. Our communication tonight is about, we always lose people in Montreat. It's the nature of the community. There's a lot of retired people up here. And this week we've lost Ron Vinson. And most of you probably knew Ron or knew of Ron. With his bringing to life again the Heritage Center after it had gotten a little weather worn, but he brought it to life and was very much a part of this community. And every time he had a program or a presentation, it was always so interesting and so in-depth. Ron will be missed. And the other one is a very special lady. If you've ever played bridge in Montreat, you knew Judy Schillinglaw. If you've ever been to a happy party, you probably met or knew Judy Schillinglaw. She was a happy person. She taught bridge to everyone, even those like my wife who did not want to learn. We had tremendous loss there in both of those individuals. And if you will, keep their families in your thoughts and prayers as we go through this week. I want to thank Brandon, our attorney, and thank the Planning and Zoning Board for all the hard work they've done over the last couple of weeks and will continue to do on some other subjects. But they've had a tough time, and it was laborious, long meetings, a lot of facts, a lot of things they'd heard over and over and over again, and I appreciate them and all the work they put in, just as I appreciate all the community, all of the committees that serve this town so well. Okay, Savannah, you want to cover the consent agenda and your communication, please, ma'am?
Yes, consent agenda, we have July 9th public forum meeting minutes, July 9th regular meeting minutes, and July 17th special meeting minutes. And then I just have a few little announcements. The first is that I was able to make contact from someone with the cell company about the tower, and I hope we are on the right track to having it rebranched and repaired and up to the standard that it was permitted. We will be closed September 7th for Labor Day. And then I wanted to thank everyone who has reached out to have their can or trash system bear resistant certified by the town. We're running about a week behind on those certifications, so if you emailed us Monday, we'll get to it next week. We're running roughly a week behind, but we've had lots of people reach out, and that's going well. If it is certified, you'll just see the sticker on your can. If we have some follow-up comments, we'll reach back out to you. And if you haven't done it already, if you would like to have your can or system certified, you can email trash@townofmontreat.org and we will come check it out. And we're hoping to have, yes, isn't that a lovely email address? Trash.
Look.
And we hope to have all those all done by October 1st, which is when our ordinance goes into effect.
Yeah, thanks,
Can
Savannah.
I just add a comment to what she said?
Absolutely.
And the certification is not required, but it gives you confidence, gives our residents confidence that their cans and/or systems are bear resistant. And the beauty of it is that they will tell you if it is or not, and if it's not, they'll suggest ways of having it done. And that's not just for the containment systems, the boxes, but it's also for the cans as well.
Thanks, Tom. Anyone else? Okay. Commissioners, you've received the administrative reports from the police department, planning and zoning, public works, sanitation, streets, finance, and permitting, and also the administration. Are there any questions of any of those reports?
Just a note that there was a correction to your finance report, and you all have the corrected version in front of you. It was just, well, now actually I can't remember what the correction was, but that you do have a corrected version.
It was the incorrect income for the water fund
Yes.
that was corrected. So we actually made money on the water fund last month.
Any other questions of those reports? Let's see, we ought to be down to about floors open for public comment. It's an opportunity for you to speak before the commissioners. Can't answer you, we can't talk to you. That's what the forum's for. But we'll listen, so the floor is open. Seeing no movement toward the microphone, move on to new business. We have no old business. Item A is the Black Mountain Police Department commendation for Officers Bonegra and Ammons. Chief, you taking care of that?
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
I just wanted to put this on the agenda because it can feel like good news is hard to come by these days. And we received this letter about two of our police officers, Officer Morgan Bocanegra and Officer Elijah Ammons. And I'll read it, but I just thought I'd share a little bit of good news for a change. It says, "Hello, Chief. I'm writing to express my sincere appreciation for the assistance your officers recently provided to Black Mountain Police Department. The close working relationship between Black Mountain and Montreat Police Departments continues to strengthen interagency cooperation, and this incident was a clear example of that partnership. In the early morning hours of June 30th, 2026, officers with Black Mountain Police were involved in a brief foot chase that developed into a physical altercation near Terry Estates Drive and North Carolina 9. Officer Morgan Bocanegra was on duty and arrived swiftly to assist. Shortly after, off-duty Officer Elijah Ammons was in the area, learned the officers needed assistance, and quickly responded to provide additional support. Although the incident ended with the suspect being taken into custody on multiple charges, I'm especially grateful for the professionalism, readiness, and willingness your officers demonstrated in assisting our personnel during a difficult situation. Please extend my appreciation to Officer Bocanegra and Officer Ammons for their support. Their actions reflect well on the Montreat Police Department and on the continued cooperation between our agencies." So I just wanted to recognize Officer Bocanegra and Officer Ammons for their good work.
Thank you, Savannah. We got some good people working for us. Item B is the resolution to declare surplus property for donation. Savannah?
Yes, these are 7 Axon Body 2 cameras that the town of Montreat is no longer using. The chief would like to donate them to the town of Hot Springs Police Department. We're able to do that under North Carolina General Statute. You can direct any detailed questions to Chief Whitson, but those are the highlights.
Questions?
Justin, the officers, you've replaced these 7 cameras
Yes, sir.
with
So
newer.
Last year, we got new body cams for our agency. Hot Springs lost everything in the storm. I know Biltmore Forest replaced their radios for them. Chief reached out, and she was like, hey, if you got anything. I was like, actually, we just replaced our body cams. Let's see if we can, get you some of our Aura body cams so that you can be protected as well. And they were willing to accept if we're willing to release, by all means. So.
That's great.
Thanks, Justin. I keep calling you Justin. I should be calling you Chief. I'm sorry. We have a motion. Have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Fouché, excuse me. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Commissioner Alexander. Any further questions or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes carry. Texas Road Traffic Parking Ordinance. Who's going to do this one? You?
I'll start it. I'm sure that you all will have some questions for the chief, but this ordinance would establish a one-way traffic pattern on a designated portion of Texas Road. I think Josh is going to throw up some photos for us. It would also add some prohibited parking areas on Texas Road. The purpose of this proposed ordinance is to help with traffic flow and pedestrian safety. I don't know if you all have been on Texas Road when clubbies are getting out at noon and 4, but it is just awful. And we were actually approached by a member of the community, someone who lives on Texas Road, asking if we would do kind of an informal traffic study and see what we could do to help. So the chief, Captain Tim Bradley, and Officer Bocanegra all spent time observing and then coming up with this as a solution. My proposal to you all tonight is to consider the ordinance, ask any questions or make any changes in the body of the ordinance that you would like, and then we will table this for next month. In the meantime, we will send a letter to every resident on Texas Road explaining why we've come to this decision, why we think it's important, making sure that they have the opportunity for input, and then we will bring this back to you for a vote in September.
Thank you, Savannah. Let me tell you, Kitty Fouché has been after this for years.
Since my grandchildren were little, getting out of clubs, I started working on this. And now they're in college, so.
And I can go through it detailed if you kind of want to see kind of the thought process behind it and whatnot. If we can go back to the first picture. So kind of right there at the end of the college parking lot, so the college would still have two-way traffic in and out to their parking lot. Basically at the end of that, where that pavement starts, is where the one-way would begin, working its way in a southbound traffic pattern, working way down. Next slide, please. This would be approximately where the no parking would begin to come into effect. So if you can recall, I don't have a picture of it, but just before that, the road kind of extends off to the right, so there would be angled parking slots available there, so we could keep some parking just below the pool. And then, so no parking would start approximately right there where the road begins to narrow, working its way down to the next slide. At this point is where the no parking would end. There is some signage for, I believe this was granted by the town previously, for some residential parking on the right-hand side of the road there. Part of the reason why we're looking at a southbound direction here is because, as you can see, the resident there is trying to park on the side of the roadway as far as possible, but when they exit their vehicle, they're going down an embankment into the creek. So by making this traffic pattern southbound, their car would be 180'd, so when they step out of their car, they have the entire width of the roadway to step out into safely. And then, so if we continue on to the stop sign on the last slide.
Justin?
Yep.
If you could just go back one more.
Absolutely.
when you say southbound, some of us are directionally disabled. It's going that way.
Correct. The way these pictures have been taken is the way the traffic would flow.
Okay.
So if we come from the four-way stop sign at Appalachian and Lookout, you go down Texas Road, it's going to remain two-way until the end of the college parking lot. You could continue on one-way, working your way down through here until you reach the stop sign. And then after the stop sign, two-way traffic would pick back up. So going to Robert Lake Park, things of that nature, you would still have two-way traffic on that road. It's just that one section of road to Community Center Circle here at the stop sign.
But you know, what she had been advocating for years, and where the real traffic is on the other side of that stop sign, where the clubbies come out at noon and at 4.
So the resident that approached us lives in this section of Texas Road. I personally had not heard of anything beyond this. We can continue to explore the possibility of one-way continuing past, the stop sign. You're going to just run into some issue, with the park and things of that nature. But with the loss of the Texas Road Bridge further down, where you end up on Texas Spur, I could easily see basically all of Texas Road becoming a one-way to the stop sign at Texas Extension. We're more than happy to look into that or study that. But again, the request from the citizenry came this section at the pool drop-off, basically, is where the concerns were. I guess there is a clubby pickup and drop-off there at the base of the pool entrance, and that was causing a lot of two-way traffic on this section specifically of Texas Road.
But the bigger problem is, like Tom said, going that way. When the clubs get out at the Bill Wild Youth Center and at Raspberry, all of those kids are coming and going, traffic backing up, trying to turn around. That's the most dangerous part. Barry and somebody from MRA and I walked that, trying to figure out where we could make a turnaround, and just could not find the turnaround. And then they said the problem with one way was that the person that lived at the end or up on that hill, when you have to go over that hill, that their driveway would put them going the wrong way.
Yeah, the last house on the left going down Texas Spur with the steep driveway, that would be an issue.
They would have to turn around and come out that way, and I don't know if they have.
What you said about the Texas Road Bridge being out, although it has been out for a long time, and the town has done a great job widening Texas Road Spur there. There's a lot of traffic both ways. I mean, we're right across the street from that, and we see it. What about a seasonal one-way?
And we've explored that as well. That was in the thought processing. I'm not sure in regards to signage, what would be the most efficient means, but I'm sure it could be done, absolutely.
I don't think you're going to be able to do much of a study until clubs are back in next year or pickleballers are here. That really I've had some complaints about traffic during pickleball. A lot of pickleball people.
I don't know that there's much study involved. I mean, just think about all those kids coming out and parents picking them up and trying to turn around and head back out the other way. It's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we can extend the letter all the way down Texas Road to get citizenry input. But I mean, I agree. The one-way going all the way down makes sense to me from a pedestrian as well as vehicular safety standpoint. It may also open up some options for a little bit more parking down through there. Not entirely sure, but you may obtain a spot or two if you end up making it a one-way, because you wouldn't have that two-way. So you may have the option for some parking there as well.
Rather than confuse the issue, I would like to do from the swimming pool or Lookout down to this intersection right here as one study, while the chief and his staff look at the other for consideration also one way. Would that be easier for us to
That's up to you,
Yeah, I mean,
whatever
I
you think.
The one we have imagery and everything for, we can keep as an independent project, and we can look at basically from Community Center Circle down as a secondary project, if that's more simple.
Okay. I think breaking it up will be simpler.
Would you start it now or next summer?
It would go into effect basically when approved by council. We also deal with it not as much, but I know there's some collegiate students that tend to try to make the back entrance to school quickly sometimes. So in having it, a one-way at that point, we would also eliminate that. They would be forced to utilize Lookout, a much wider, better suited. Not that they need to be speeding, but it would force them to go and utilize Lookout as well. So.
I just have a problem with the whole concept of a one-way just from that first section down to the stop sign. There's 4 houses there, 5 maybe at most. And if we did away with that parking, that especially during the college term, there's a lot of illegal parking there with double parking and so on, especially during ball games and such. But other times, I walk that area a lot. So I just can't agree with that. I just can't.
I really would, as we move through this, I'd like some information going out so that we can get how people feel on Texas Road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for them, but I have been approached by 2 full-time residents of you say 4 or 5, that were in very strong support of the year-round one-way, knowing that it would influence the way that they come in and out and the way that they would have to park and things of that nature, but they were in full support. But yes, we can definitely send the letter out and get their exact words so that we would know how they feel.
Several people that are on that road are not full-time residents also. So.
Yeah, I think the upper portion here, a lot of that's full-time, but yeah, past this intersection down, it definitely becomes a lot more seasonal and things of that nature, Airbnbs and vacation homes and whatnot.
Any more questions of the chief?
So I think what we will do is look at expanding it or maybe changing the scope a little bit, making contact with everyone on Texas Road, and then bringing it back to you guys. Sounds like a plan? Okay.
Like a plan. And Chief, when you get ready to study it or walk it or whatever, grab a hold of Commissioner Widmer.
Absolutely.
Take him with you. He'll be happy to walk with you once you're done.
And his dog, Whitmer's dog, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Do it.
Jack wants to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's better to walk with somebody and you can understand their thinking a lot better than trying to explain it in public. Okay. Annual tax collection order, Savannah?
This is just a routine annual action that authorizes the collection of the town's property taxes, but it is required under North Carolina General Statute 105-321. And just for your information, the town's fiscal year 2026, so last year, property tax collection rate was 99.94%. So we have a very good net collection rate.
Motion from commissioners?
So moved.
Have a motion to approve the annual tax collection order as presented. Do we have a second?
A second.
Have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Did you get the motion in second? Yes, sir. Okay. Budget amendment number 2, Helene Stonebridge and town landscaping donations. Savannah?
This budget amendment recognizes donations that we have already received and puts those funds into the appropriate budget accounts. It doesn't create any new spending from the general fund.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Fouché. Second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Widmer. Discussion? Questions?
I think we ought to recognize the people that worked very hard to raise that money.
Absolutely.
With trivia, mahjong, it was a lot of work, and they did an outstanding professional job.
They did. And the Mahjong, everyone absolutely loved it. I have heard rave reviews about the Mahjong night. So, yes, we appreciate all of those efforts so much.
Okay, have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Solid waste disposal and refuse collection. Savannah?
So it's always good news when we're bringing ordinance back to you for amendment before it's in effect. But this proposed change it's small. It's really a small change. The only thing is changing the cleanup fee. Originally in the ordinance, we had put the cleanup fee as we were going to charge the hourly rate of the employee whose time was spent actually cleaning it up. I know that some of you felt like that probably wasn't quite strong enough. So this would change that cleanup fee to just a $125 flat fee on top of the civil penalty, which goes up for each violations and subsequent violation. So the $125 cleanup fee plus a civil penalty for the second violation, I should start at the first violation. A written warning, $125 cleanup fee for the first violation, $200 civil penalty plus $125 cleanup fee for the second violation, $400 civil penalty, and $125 cleanup fee for the third and subsequent violation. And that fee is just intended to recover the town's costs when staff have to clean up the material that's been left behind or torn into. And we hope that it will help people take it more seriously if it's a little bit stronger.
And that probably doesn't even cover their cost or opportunity cost with the vehicle
right.
going up there and everything else.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Commissioner Widmer. Have a second.
A second.
Second from Commissioner Dasher. Discussion? Comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Flat Creek Crossing. Okay.
So you all are very familiar with this by now.
Josh, Josh, can you shut that back door and ask whoever's talking out there to
Thank you, Josh.
be quiet, please?
So you all are familiar with this by now. This North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust Fund's Helene Recovery Fund Project Agreement, which the Flat Creek Crossing Committee has applied for and now are asking you all to make a decision on whether or not they accept those funds. This grant requires $1 of local match for every $1 of state funding. So the total match would be $307,274. We have had, or Rachel has had a conversation with the auditors about whether or not we would have to encumber these funds. They do not believe that we would have to encumber the funds. However, they did say that once the first dollar of this grant is spent, the town is responsible for paying the match. We cannot change our minds. We cannot send it back. So although we wouldn't have to encumber them up front, the effect is the same in that we would still be on the hook for all $307,000. With that information, I will leave it to council for discussion and decision.
And is,
Tom, I understand that you and Jane met with some of the people from Flat Creek Crossing and had a discussion. And
No.
then
No,
did not.
we met Yeah, I have talked with,
Okay,
yes.
okay, go ahead. Tom, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, I see period covered by this agreement on page 52 of the packet. It says May 1, 26 through April 30, 29. So does that mean that they have to raise $307,274 by that date, or the town pays the difference?
So this grant is meant to be used within that 3-year time period. So yes.
Other questions? Any discussion?
Is a motion been made?
Tom and I did meet with Savannah and Rachel, and as we were coming up with this, we were looking at it, and we decided that the town is being asked to guarantee a matching grant in the amount of $307,274 for further development of Flat Creek Crossing. Although the funds would not have to be encumbered, just like has been stated before, as soon as the first dollar's paid, and that's what we've already heard, that the town will be financially obligated. So, after this, I have some some facts that we went through our budget and talked about the things that how it impacted our budget. Flat Creek Crossing has raised $102,000 non-grant funds since they began the fundraising 4 years ago in 2022. You said 2023? We had 2022. Or a $25,000 average per year. The town would be obligated to pay the difference between what they raised and the $307,000, $274, when the grant concluded on April 30th, 2029. It would be challenging for them to raise $307,274 in less than 3 years, given that they have only raised $102,000 in non-grant funds in 4 years. Funds the town guaranteed would be diverted from critical infrastructure and operational projects needed to operate the town. Projects the town has already postponed and or will need to pay for include 23 FEMA projects totaling $4,328,788 that have been approved by FEMA, but we have to pay for, then seek reimbursement. Postponed 3 major capital projects in the 2026-27 budget, amounting to $344,000, including a police vehicle, a public works truck, and a street paving project. Postponed many other projects, including sidewalk project to complete the sidewalk from Lake Susan down to Black Mountain. $61,000 and other public works equipment. Other paving projects not included in the 26-27 budget that have been deferred for many years due to insufficient revenue to complete them. Would you like to do the conclusion?
Well, I'd just like to add that, number one, thank you all for what you have done. It's been an incredible job. But as we look at these facts and our current situation, with 4 million, more than that, almost $4.5 million that the town is going to have to pay out to get these projects done before we can even get reimbursed. Not to mention, Jane said $344,000 worth of capital projects this year that we couldn't afford to buy. It was actually more than that because Savannah told the staff, hold back, be reasonable. And they were reasonable and only put in certain things. And even with that, we had to cut what they thought was reasonable because we just didn't have the funds. We didn't have the cash to do it. Jane talked about the paving projects. We've had paving projects. Overbrook, I feel so sorry for everybody on Overbrook because they're on that paving list every single year, and every single year it gets cut because we don't have the money to do it. Even though we have the highest tax base in the county, we still don't have cash to do this. So as much as I appreciate what you all have done and the work that you have all put into it, I just think that it would be irresponsible for the council to underwrite, to guarantee this, given the load, the financial load and other load that this town has on its shoulders right now.
Other comments from other commissioners?
Well, Tom said it, but I wanted to also add that it's an incredible document that you put together. I mean, it is incredible. It did start to snowball. It just wasn't Black Creek Crossing. It encompassed a lot of really neat projects, but it's projects we can't afford, and that's what, blossomed into the over 300,000. It's not just Flat Creek Crossing. So I hope that this document can be used to seek other funding and maybe reduce it to just what you need and not encompass so much. And I'll ask Mayor Helms, how long did it take us to get the FEMA money from Graybeard?
The last one, I think,
Well, the one that got taken out again.
taken out the road.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got it in January, right before the hurricane, didn't we?
No, it was post-hurricane, we were still meeting in Convocation Hall, so sometime in late 2024, early 2025.
And it damaged, 5 years, 6 years before
It's
that?
about 6 years.
Yeah, the Gambian baskets that were put in, we were years getting that reimbursement. So when we say we've got to pay FEMA back, it's a long process, and we've got to fund that up front.
Yeah, for me, I think the big thing is affirmation that the work that you guys are proposing does need to be done. I look at the creek, it's not in good shape. The bank's not stable. Every time it rains, the water's muddy. It's not good for the fish. It's not good for the wildlife. And there are a lot of problems with the creek that need to be corrected. It's hard to justify the town being on the hook for $300,000 when we have so many critical infrastructure projects that are at work right now. I fish in that creek. I love that creek. My kids play in it. We baptize people in that creek sometimes. It is the lifeblood of this town. That creek is, in my opinion, the physical lifeblood. But it's the timing, I think, is the hard part. We have so much critical infrastructure that can't be fixed because we don't have the cash. And so it's hard. Even as a business owner, there are things that I want to do within my own business. It's like I can't afford to do that. Can't afford to leverage myself in that way right now. Good projects, things that need to be done. It would be hard for me to justify that, even though it's something that I deeply believe in and would personally benefit from. So I feel conflicted. I do want to say that. But I agree with the other council members here.
One more thing I was worried about in raising the money is I've never felt so stretched with the hands that are out right now. I mean, we're collecting all over town. Much of it has to do with Hurricane Helene, but hands are out all over the place, and I feel like everybody's being stretched. And the chances of getting this money, I think, is being reduced by all the fundraising that's going on all over town, all over our community in Black Mountain. We're just stretched.
Any other comments or questions? Do I have a motion to accept or decline the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, the lien recovery funds?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we decline the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust Fund's Helene Recovery Funds.
I have a motion from Commissioner Whitmer. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'd like to make a note on that,
Sure.
it's a regretful denial.
Second from Commissioner Alexander. Any further comments, questions? You ready for the vote? All those in
Let me
favor?
say one more thing.
Yes,
Patty
ma'am.
Powell has worked her tail off on this, and she's getting ready to move, and we are going to miss her so much, and I worried about this night, knowing how hard you worked in your... Well, thank you, Patty.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion to decline signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Floor is open for public comment. Seeing no one approach the,
Eric.
oh, Eric, okay. Moving slow, Eric. You've noticed.
Yeah, we're maturing. We're not getting slow. Two subjects. I know you can't answer me, and so if it sounds like a question, it is. First of all, the Texas Road situation. There's a bridge there. We all know which one we're talking about. It's been talked about as a covered bridge, and it ends up as a pedestrian bridge. The one-way problem down around where the conference center is, not the conference center, I'm sorry, Bill Wild, the tennis courts, pickleball, whatever you want to call them. If that was utilized as a road, which it was before, and a bridge going over it, we won't get into talking about the grant that was arranged at one point for that. But there is, I mean, it is a serious problem that we have in terms of public safety, particularly for kids. So that's an out, possibly. Secondly, with regard to Flat Creek Crossing, sure, we did raise $25,000 a year from folks. We've already raised we've gotten the amount down from 307 to the high 260s, so we're obviously very frustrated. We have been a fundraising machine. You have forgotten about one particular thing, which is so important, is our ability to raise money through grants. There's still a lot of money out there for restoration and for situations like ours. The towns, I mean, not Flat Creek Crossing just per se. We raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why we only had to raise $100,000 so we could do phase one. The money's in the bank, the work's being done, and it's just frustrating to hear the conversation leaving out that most important fact of all. Fundraising, we're really good at it. Grant writing, we're superb. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Eric. Anyone else? Gene?
Jean Norris, 192 Mississippi Road. I realize the vote has been taken, but I do want to correct what I think might be a misperception. What you voted on was not to sign a contract with NC Parks and Rec, which would have committed their half of the total 614,000 whatever. The contract has all of the usual contract get out of jail cards in it. Mason Blake was aware of that. He's not here tonight to speak to it. But you don't automatically assume the entire amount of the uncommitted funds. If you can't raise it, if we can't raise it, you break the contract. And I know the vote's already been taken, but that was an important piece, I think, that might have been missed.
Anyone else? Seeing no one approach the microphone, commissioners' communication. Any commissioner have any communication tonight? Seeing no one, college kids will be returning when? This week, next week, sometime very soon. I bet Justin knows.
The 17th will be the first day that.
When?
At the 17th.
Oh, it's just 4 days from then.
That'll be the athletes, and then the new students on the 21st.
Okay.
That's the business.
All right, dates to remember: the Board of Adjustment, Thursday, August 27th, 5 p.m. in Town Hall with Zoom. Land Care, Wednesday, September the 2nd, 9 a.m. in Town Hall. Town offices are closed Monday, September the 7th, in observance of Labor Day. Sanitation service will resume on Tuesday the 8th. Stonebridge Advisory Committee meeting Tuesday, September the 8th, 10 a.m. here in Town Hall. September Town Council meeting will be Thursday, September the 10th, 6 p.m. with the forum at 5:30 p.m. Tree Board Tuesday, September the 15th, 9 a.m. to 10 in Town Hall. Board of Adjustment Thursday, September the 24th, 5 a.m. in Town Hall. There's no other business to conduct. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Fouché. Have a second.
A second.
Second from Commissioner Dasher. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes carry. We stand adjourned.